Om Shanti. So welcome all of you to the Values for Life series, episode 82 on regularity. And as always, before we begin, we'll spend a few moments in silence and invoke the presence of the Supreme Being. Yes, so welcome all of you once again to the episode 682 on regularity. And we are so fortunate we have two very beautiful, wonderful regular angels with us who have been a part of the series, very integral part, I must say. So we have first Sister Dr. Jena, who's joining with us from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much, Sister Jena. And our very own Dr. Ashok Mehta, who's always there regularly with us. And today, thank you so much, Dr. Mehta. So both of them shall be speaking on regularity. Let me share with you, before I speak about them, that why they were chosen for regularity. Because first of all, as you know, Dr. Mehta is a surgeon by profession. And I mean, as we speak till to this date, he still operates as well. So there you are. He is still very regular in his operative fitness, I must say. And Sister Jena, what can I say about her? Like, she's the epitome of punctuality, regularity, all the values, because she's really an embodiment of all the virtues. So let me just introduce both of them. I'll start with Dr. Mehta first today. He's instrumental actually in developing the head and neck oncology. Oncology is related to cancers, and he has really many hats to wear related to the oncology. He was the one who started this program in India after his training abroad. He's co-authored a book on diagnosis and management of cancer in 1985, and he also has started this training program of super specialty of surgical oncology of head and neck, whereby a lot of young surgeons in India are trained under him at the prestigious Institute of Tata Medical Center, the Cancer Center in Mumbai. And he has served as the chief at Tata Memorial and also at all the Vatis, Nanavati, Leelavati, all the big tertiary hospitals in Mumbai. And his journey in Brahma Kumaris began almost 40 years from now. And at the moment, he also still is the scientific and medical advisor for the Brahma Kumaris Janki Foundation for Spirituality in Healthcare. And he's also the main coordinator of the Values in Healthcare project, which we call the Vihasa, Values in Healthcare, a Spiritual Approach. So here we are, he's with us. Thank you so much for joining. And our very dear sister, Dr. Jena. All of you know her very well. She's been with us many times. I was actually complaining before the program started that you're not very regular with us. But well, anyway, she'll be definitely with us in this year as well. We'll see what drama has a few more times. She's the founder and the director of the Brahma Kumaris Meditation Museum located in the metropolitan Washington, D.C. area. All of you know very well, I have shown you in the past the website. You can please go and visit americameditating.org and also the meditationmuseum.org. And Sister Jena has actually been the host for the popular America Meditating radio show. And she has also got the President's Lifetime National Community Service Award. I actually forgot to mention Dr. Mehta also has many prestigious awards to his name. Sorry for that, I forgot. And as always, both of them so easy that you just approach them with an email and please, can you please do this talk? And there they are. So it's their utmost humility and down to earth nature, which really inspires us to become like them. And today's value is on regularity. So the poem for both of you. Today, both Sister Jenna and Dr. Mehta shall speak on regularity. Through their words of wisdom, shed a lot of light with a lot of clarity. Let's take a close look at both of them. See them. They are the pillars of prosperity, with a lot of name and fame and having utmost popularity. We actually know both of them through our episodes with a lot of familiarity as they carry on their spiritual life with a lot of sincerity. In this world where there seems to be at every level a lot of disparity, and the people are living in extreme circumstances with austerity, the divine then intervenes with virtues and powers as his peculiarity and deals with all the wounded and stressed souls with a lot of dexterity. Finally, bringing our attention back to the soul energy that we are and inducing parity so that all the differences which humans have now become a rarity. So with this, again, thank you both of you for joining. And now I would request Sister Claudia to please officially welcome both of you. Over to you, Sister Claudia.
Good morning from Vancouver. Good evening to some of you and good afternoon to others. So it's a pleasure to welcome both of you, those two jewels. I think they show through what they have been achieved up to now, how much we need to be regular, whatever we do. So it's a pleasure to welcome both of you. And because you are such a gold souls, so gold doctors, I like to give a gold flower to both of you, offer a gold flower to both of you, because you are gold like the flower. Yeah. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Dr. Manoj. I don't know where you get those words of wisdom and beauty and poetry from, but it's brilliant. And I'm sure you're going to be putting all of that together in a book at some point in time because they're incredible. They're incredible. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy every day of your life, really. Today's value on regularity is one that I think we take for granted. But I think after today's conversation, those of us who are listening and watching this might get a chance to kind of direct their habits and their behavior in a way that will be self-sustaining for them now and in the future. We need more sustenance. A lot of us take sustenance from each other as people. That if my mother gives me love, I'm sustained, or if my colleagues at work give me respect, I'm sustained, or if the weather is good, I'll be sustained, or if my tradition stays regular in its ancient cultures and belief systems, it can sustain me, make my life better and stronger. But sometimes we don't always have the best regular behavior and habit. And I know that from the Values and Spirituality program that this is the 82nd show that they have been regular. And as a result of their regularity, we are able to meet so regularly and to learn so much about ourselves and about each other. As we move forward, I think for many of us, we always wish the best for our lives, but sometimes we're in a regular system that's not supporting the best ideas that we think about. Today's conversation with our illustrious Dr. Ashok Mehta, we're hoping that we'll get some ideas of deepening our behavior and our thoughts and our actions, where we can create a regular system of being in here and out here, that it not only brings benefit to my life, but to the life of those around us. So what I'd like to do is just to play a little meditation, a little musical meditation that came out from a retreat I hosted with a lot of my celebrity friends on America Meditating Radio. Kristen Hoffman, beautiful voice, beautiful presence, She learned from the Juilliard Arts here in New York City. And just while we were talking in the conversation in the retreat, this song just emerges from out of her. So what I would love for us to do is that get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and snap a notebook, pen and paper. Make sure you're comfortable for the next hour and a little bit more. And sit with the feeling in you that I'm open, I need change now, I want change. And I'm willing to find out what new thought patterns I can create to initiate the change that I can desperately feel inside of the soul. I want, I need, not even I want it, I need it. I need it. There's something more in me. I can feel it. I see it. But maybe my pattern just needs a little tweaking. So let's take a moment to enjoy this moment of inner reflection of Om Shanti, the reminder that the original nature of my soul, the original nature of your soul, the original nature of 8 billion human beings on the planet is peace. And if I can maintain the regularity of peace as my personality, there would be actually world peace. So I just invite you to take a moment of deep breath in. And let's move into the spirit of Om Shanti. It's such a beautiful song of Om Shanti. Imagine every day in your life making it a regular confirmation, a regular affirmation, but a regular belief system. I am Shanti. I am Shanti. I am Om. Om Shanti. I am peace. To be so regular with such thoughts, it's vital. Dr. Mehta, so nice to see you and to have you on our values and spirituality, where both of us are going to be having a conversation that I think means a lot to us. We have a lot of value for being punctual, on time, committed, having a lot of integrity in decisions that we make. And what I'd like to start off with, where you are concerned in terms of your life, when you look at the value of regularity, the first thing that comes to my mind is that you can be depended on. It's something that you do over and over again, and you're just regular in doing it. And sometimes people might find regularity to be a little bit boring or not safe, that you keep playing life safe. And why do you want to play life safe and be so regular? Don't you like spontaneity? Don't you want something different? So what I'd like to ask you is, when you think about the value of regularity for you, what does it mean for you, and how have you seen it in a beneficial form play out in your life?
It is a part of my upbringing right from early childhood. And my parents were very keen that I should follow certain norms, get up early, go to school properly, study properly. Everything has to be done regularly, eat in time, sleep in time. And I think that just happened. This was a conservative Indian upbringing in Mumbai in late 30s and early 40s. Those were the years when India was fighting for its independence against the British. So we had Mahatma Gandhi as a symbol of resistance, and he sort of, truth and nonviolence were part of his training to all of us, because we had most of the teachers in our school who had gone to prison. Many of them had stayed in the prison with Mahatma Gandhi in Pune, and he used to write letters to her. So she used to come and read those letters in the class. So I think that upbringing was very, very positive in terms of, our whole thinking was on a different lines, on a nationalistic thinking. And even in my family, my maternal grandmother was very regular on everything. She would have prayers. In Jainism, we call it Samaik. She would do for hours. It would be exactly 48 minutes. You sit in Samaik, you have initiation, then you sit in silence, read or recite, or you have mala, what we call it. So it was a very good upbringing that way, to bring regularity. And then, of course, when I went higher up, as I went into college and in the medical school, I think that was a tough time. And especially after being graduate and taking over in subject of surgery, you had to work like a clockwork, sometimes not sleeping for 24 hours, 48 hours. I have worked for 72 hours at a stretch. So I think that regularity had just been a part of our life. And as Manoj Bhai said, that he thought of me as a surgeon to come on a regularity. I think regularity is absolutely mandatory as far as the doctors are concerned, as far as the surgeons are concerned. So you often see people turning up late, when the patient is anesthetized and people don't show up for 30 minutes, that's not acceptable. So I think my life has been a part of regularity all along.
So I want to ask you this. Wait, let me jump in here. So let's say here you're raised in a very conservative way, taking a lot of the ancient traditional forms, which is beautiful. But then you go to college and maybe you're doing rotations and you're getting ready to move up the scale in life, but you're not regular like you used to be. Now, here's my question. Did you find that you were no longer yourself that you had known because now your regularity had shifted because there was something else now that was pretty dominant? Or do you think the regularity of your lifestyle made you a solid individual that despite all the changes, you were able to still take a particular level of strength with you in whatever it was that was changing around you?
Well, I think what has happened is a simple thing. As Manoj Bhai said, I've been with Brahma Kumaris since 1988,
40 years.
over a period of time. This is one area where I think the regularity is absolutely mandatory in a BK family life. You get up early morning at 4 o'clock. You follow everything. You go for Murli at the right time. You do the meditation. You have your lifestyle most of the time used either for your professional work or for seva, service. So I think that has continued in that direction of regularity. I would say that there's hardly any change in my regularity. It just continues as it is.
It just continues. That's good. I remember the period where I was filming a television show and I had to be on different schedules and routines. We were interviewing people who were in different spiritual traditions, and I caught myself going to bed like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, which I had never done, after I became a practitioner of the Brahma Kumaris. I remembered how I felt a big difference, like I was obstructing my foundation. Like I felt that something within me was getting obstructed, and I could recognize how important it was to have a regular foundation, like morning meditation, like morning studies, like pausing every hour in the hour. Now, when we look at regularity in terms of work, family responsibilities, I would like to turn us to the regularity of our minds. That is an area that is always intriguing to me, Dr. Mehta. What are those patterns of thinking that you would recommend we need to keep practicing? For example, we opened the show with Om Shanti, to have this regular behavior practice or internal practice. I am peace. I am a peace. I am a peaceful soul. Many of us don't think of regularity in the term of thought process, thought science, thought management. Can you share a little bit about what kind of a regular thoughts you have on a daily basis, and what kind of a regular thoughts would you recommend we could have on a regular basis to make our lives more peaceful?
Well, I think we normally, whatever the Murlis we get or we feed every day, it gives you a newer thought every day. And it's, you follow the path, whatever the path that you've been taken. So for example, I'm a successful, or I'm a Vijay Atma. I'm in all positive ways you think of yourself. And I think it works out very well. For example, every day I tell myself, I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a happy soul. I'm going to be successful in everything that I do. These positive affirmations have helped tremendously. And what I realize is these affirmations really work all along the day. As you think what you are, it just materializes in the real life.
Mm-hmm. You know, in our studies of the Brahma Kumaris, for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, very, very warm welcome. And you're tuning into a culture of thinking that borrows from very deep ancient traditions. So when Dr. Mehta was mentioning about the Murli, which is the teachings offered by the Brahma Kumaris, it is one of the most powerful 3 pieces of paper one can receive at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, which is when we sit regularly to listen to what we feel is the energy of God, you know, tapping on the consciousness of the mind. And so when you think about hearing yourself or thinking about yourself as I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a loving soul, everything that I do will be successful, can you imagine the outcome of those regular thoughts in your consciousness every day? It would make a vast difference. So looking at this value of regularity is to help us to focus on what are these thoughts that I should have more regularly for my life so I can create the life outside of me that would reveal maybe God is here, that would reveal that I am a child of God, that would reveal that if God is omnipresent, the world would be at peace with itself. And I ask you to think about that. And I'd like to even have Dr. Mehta, you know, turn us now towards a life of spirituality where you're a scientist, you have mastered the understanding of the anatomy of the body, the way it functions, what it does if this is not taken care of. And then you find yourself on a path of light, a path of moving into the unknown without the fear of doing that. You know, you bumped into one of our elders, one of our daddies who was with an illness. It was your expertise. I would like to ask you to go back to that time. I believe it was Daddy Gulzar, who was maybe one of the first BKs you had worked on or were with. You can correct me. And I'd be curious to find out, what were those feelings that you recalled working with this patient who was a yogini and a messenger of God for decades? Do you remember that moment?
Oh, sure. One thing I distinctly remember the first time I met her, and I examined her, and I disclosed to her that she had this cancer of the breast. She had no questions. I asked her, would you like in the West, you know, we have Western minds, so we asked, the first question is, do you have any questions? She said, no questions. When would you like to get operated? Tomorrow. This is how precise and clear. There are no questions at all. And I think this is one thing that impressed me the maximum. And even during her hospitalization and her treatment, whenever I met her, I never heard her complain of anything. On the contrary, she said, you have done such a wonderful job that I have no pain, which is, again, positive thinking. I don't think the physical pain everyone has to have, but it's how you respond to it. That's my, and the second thing about, say, for example, regularity. You talked about the medical functions. Our entire physiology works on regularity. Everything goes on absolutely perfect. Our heart keeps on functioning from the day you are born till the day you leave your body. Your biochemistry works very well. Your sugars, your kidneys function, your lungs function, everything functions perfectly. So that's a built-in something in the nature itself. See, if you look at the universe, galaxies, billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, so many black holes, everything that's happened in and still we have the day and night absolutely perfectly. We have the same sunrise as depicted or as we anticipated. Sunset is the same. Day and night function the same way. In other words, regularity is a natural built-in phenomenon which I think all of us, we are not only terrestrial, but we are a part of the universal design. We may consider ourselves in a different way at a physical level. We think of a nation in which you are born, the religion you are born, the color of the skin you are born, but everything that happens is built in what is natural.
Yeah.
We are not only terrestrial, but we are universal. That's, I think,
That's
one
so
of the messages
true.
that we have. The same thing is seasons, built-in
Yeah.
seasons. Come December and you'll have snow in your country. We'll have cold weather here during summer. Come June and you are in summer. So I think everything in the nature, in the universe is according to regularity, perfect regularity.
What would you say is the cause of us moving away from a healthy form of regularity? Example, in my early 20s, I used to run very popular nightclubs in South Beach, Miami. And I had a regular routine where I would go to bed at 7 in the morning because I had to close the club at 5, right? And after I came to the Brahma Kumaris and I started to have my awakening internally, I was getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was having a relationship, a connection with God, the supreme power, the supreme energy, not a middleman, just I, the soul, now feeling the energy of God's light in the early morning hours. And that became a regular practice, which I never had before, Dr. Mehta. And so what is it that shifts our regular patterns? For me, it was the awakening of a connection to God, God's love. There was this vibration of God's light. It was unknown, it was invisible, but it was very visible in what I was feeling. And what I was regular in, just it got trumped. I had no interest in doing that anymore. And I ended up on the path of a regular practice of early morning rise, early morning study, eating at the right time, pausing every hour in the hour to check what's happening in my mind, evening meditation from 7 to 7:30, and I would go to bed at a particular time. And I've been regular like that for decades. And in between that, my life would flow. For me, what changed my regularity of unhealthy regular habits was an experience of God's light, God's energy shifted something in me. What do you think is responsible for the change of regularity that was the natural laws of nature? The climate change is happening. We can see it. We see suicide rate is at an all-time high. We see divorce rates are at an all-time high. We see that the children are struggling with ADHD, different behaviors that's coming out, which we're not used to. Something has changed, Dr. Mehta, that we're moving away from ancient, deep-rooted, traditional regularities. What was it that trumped that behavior, that quality of regularity? And now it seems like things are pretty chaotic. What is making that? What's the reason for that? Do you have any thoughts?
Sorry, Dr. Mehta, you are muted for some reason. We can't hear you suddenly. No, we can't hear you. No, no. So, yeah, you are still muted. The brother can just unmute because I'm asking him to unmute him.
You see how interesting that is, everyone? We were regularly going on with the program. Then something comes in between. do we change? Do we shift gears, or do we continue, or what?
Am I
And in
audible
the
now?
same way, yeah, we can hear you
Yeah,
now.
I think the batteries ran down.
Okay, but it's so interesting. The question was, Dr. Mehta, what is the reason for us
Yeah.
to break regularity that seems so traditional, ancient, and beneficial to like a lot of chaos in the world right now? And that's
Yeah.
become almost a regular behavior
I
and
think
activity.
there's a tremendous change. The stability in the society is affected, and everything has gone topsy-turvy in terms of communication, in terms of what you see and what you hear continuously on the media, whether it's on the internet, or whether it's on the YouTubes or on television. I think that has made a lot of difference. For example, I've seen children they're playing 2 and 3-year-old are given the cell phone in the hand, and they keep on watching cartoons. I mean, this is what is happening. Not only that, but I think across the age, people are more influenced by the media, and it makes a lot of difference. We keep on hearing about the crimes increasing, which again is part of the milieu in which you live. I think there is a lot of change. And of course, you can bring about a change. What you brought about in yourself was through a personality change. Your positive thinking, your intellect also accepted those positive thoughts, and you decided to change your lifestyle, whether it was to get up early, to change your early morning from
Yes, yeah.
sleeping at 7 to getting up at 4 o'clock. I think it's a change which is you bring by yourself with the personality changes that you bring about by creating positive thinking. I think that's the change at the level of the mind. And finally, whatever your mind thinks and your intellect accepts, there is a change in your thinking, and neuroplasticity, your connections in your brain would change also. So I think it's a very simple but a complex issue that we can change ourselves. You can, say, for example, the people who are used to eat non-vegetarian food, but they become vegetarians. Or those who are become violent, they become quiet. Those who are getting angry, they become peaceful. Those who are very possessive become charitable. I think these are the changes which we bring about by our thinking and the process of fitting ourselves with the thoughts that we create.
I've had the privilege and the fortune of being very closely linked to many leaders of different religious traditions, spiritual traditions, even New Age practices. And everybody wants to do better. They want to be positive. They want to live a better life. And each one is contributing in their own way. And on my journey and our journey as members of the Brahma Kumaris organization, one of the things that I've loved is the collective regularity of, the over 1 million participants and students who will do that morning routine, waking up at 4, studying at 6, pausing every hour in the hour, which is great. One thing I'd like to find out from you, though, is what did anything change when that energy of the divine became a regular connection, relationship, story? I changed so much, Dr. Mehta, and everyone. From what I was before to what I am today, all of that is from God's light coming through me. I tell you, it's not just me. It was this energy of the divine being who is regular in consistently sending vibrations. Consistently, this energy of God's light is regularly sending these waves of love and peace as a vibration, and we just have to be open to catch it. But we're so irregular. We're running here, we're running after this desire, we're chasing after someone, we're comparing ourselves, we're criticizing, we're judging, we're scared. There isn't any room to take that energy that is coming from God to make me solid and regular. So you talked, when we talked the other day, we were talking about some of the traditions in India with the practices of ancient studies, ancient health modalities. Can you talk to me a little bit about that, about the old ancient ways of India, which I'm seeing is coming back? I'm seeing it through the Brahma Kumaris. I'm seeing it through spiritual traditions where people are going back to or moving forward to traditions that were ancient, but they were pure. They had respect, regard, nobility. There is a wisdom about our ancient ways. And we're not seeing that now because of all the chaos. Can you tell me a little bit about some of those ancient ways that you remembered and why they're so important to us?
Yeah. In our traditions, we used to have, say for example, we used to have Patanjali, who had Astanga Yoga, that were 8-bodied yoga that was taught, where you have to follow certain yams and niyam. That means that you follow certain moral methods, like you had to be truthful, you have to be non-violent, you don't steal things, you practice celibacy, and you are non-possessive. You possess only things what you need. This is very important. Then you have to be said your contentment is a very important issue that we have. Then we have to have certain methods of doing yoga. We do, physically you have to be proper. So you have physical yoga, which is at the moment being taught in the West very commonly. And then you have to have pranayam, and then you have to have the dhyan or meditation, and you make certain concentration, and finally you reach the highest point of your enlightenment. But this is how it was built in the Astanga Yoga, which I think today we are only following the physical part in the West, for example, but that has to be also methods of, you have to follow certain moral methods, you have to accept certain rules, and you have to have a perfect life in terms of, that was the original one. Even, for example, we always have what is called Shakti or Kundalini, that is, there's a whirling energy. It's a part of the universal energy, which all of us carry in our physical body also. And this is which starts from the sacrum and goes up to the top. These are, we call 7 chakras, which you can, by practice, you can, elevate them, or you can bring it in your physical body, and that gives you the power. We have, I think that's one of the things which I was talking about, and I think this is one area that we should really look at.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. And I go back because as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about that moment, that entry, that regular, it's very powerful, everyone. Dr. Mehta was sharing, and it's true. Every single one of us on the planet, there is a regularity of the highest values and virtues that we've carried. We're all children of God. We're all children of the divine. So we must have those values in us. They're already wired. There was something you talked about earlier, Dr. Mehta, about the neuroplasticity. And it's what we call the rewiring of the brain in the West, where You can change your ways by changing your thinking. And sometimes it's very difficult for people to change their pattern of thinking. Is there a way that you could recommend that can help us to change sometimes the pattern of unhealthy thinking? For me, I go behind my eyes and I consider myself a point, a soul, just a pure, spiritual, peaceful, eternal energy. And whenever I start from there, it feels very neutral. It feels very neutral. Then I can create any thoughts from that place. What are your steps? What methods do you use to sometimes change patterns of thinking that are not healthy for you?
So, for example, I used to always get very irritated, very angry, and I wanted to control it. So I started realizing that you expect things from others. You feel that what you are thinking is right. You want to change yourself. The first thing you should start having acceptance. You must accept that everyone cannot think the same way as you think, and therefore you also have a tolerance for other people. These are necessary. You think also, you meditate, and to be peaceful, you look at within yourself, not look at the outside. The outside, you cannot change the world. You have to change yourself. So first thing that I realized was to bring about a qualitative change in my life, I should look within myself. Whatever, whether if you get angry, whether you have violence, or whether you have too much of possessiveness, you want more and more, you're not content with what you have. I think you have to give your positive vibes to your own self, sit in silence, and look at your weaknesses and try and give the positive concept to us.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I know I'm not very clear in expressing myself, but this is one of the things in meditation we do, is that we create positive thoughts. We look at the strengths that we have, and we try to change ourselves, bring about a change. And I think this is you can do it if you regularize anything. If you decide to change yourself, you can certainly change only through the right companionship, the right fellowship. You must have your right reading. You must read this positive work, the spiritual work, and spend more time with yourself. I think that's one of the fundamentals that I have learned over a period of time. And I have changed a lot, as I said.
Yeah, we sure have changed a lot. As a practicing surgeon and somebody so accomplished in your field, many physicians or scientists have sort of put on the shelf the concept of soul. I know you haven't, and I would love if you could explain to us your understanding of the soul. What have you come to learn about the soul? Because it's such a regular practice of remembrance in the BK study.
All of us, we live at a physical level. That we are at level of the body. We never thought about the level of the soul, which, who am I? And, it's one of the things that we used to, we know that we are the souls, but not knowing what are the qualities of the soul. How do we, and what a soul consists of. Where we learn now that soul is mind, intellect, and the sanskar, the mind one, which creates the thoughts. You have intellect, which filters up your thoughts, and then whatever you do, the action that you take goes back into your memory or personality traits. This is how you change your thinking. So you start changing at the level of thought, and then only it will come back into your personality. I think that's a very essential part of the whole thing.
Beautiful. Now, they say that you can't cut the soul, you can't burn the soul, you can't destroy the soul never dies. I'm sure you've had a patient or two that no matter how much effort you made on the body, the soul didn't stay in the body. Have you ever witnessed when the soul left the body? Because that's a regular thing. We all have to accept that soul has to leave our body, soul has to exit. Have you ever experienced that? What was that like? What did you feel?
Well, we see the deaths every day, patients passing away in front of you. But we also know that there are classical examples where people have, like Mozart, for example. He had at a very young age, at the age of 4 and 5, he could play some of the instruments. He could also create music at the age of 5. People who have got extraordinary talents in a young age. So we know that. I have also known people, my friend's children. One of the child, he could remember his past birth, and he could say that this is the house where I lived. These are my wife and my kids. It was very embarrassing for the family to, so they used to sort of shut him up. I think we know the reincarnation by the entire Brahma Kumaris is on the Paramatma Avtaran, in the sense that that energy comes into the physical body and talks to you. And when Brahma Baba says, or whatever we heard from Dadi Gulzar when she went into awaken or trance, and we have a literature, thousands of, at least 1400 Murlis, these were all done through the soul and of the Supreme entering into the physical body and telling us. And that is the entire movement that is all, we are the students of that university and that knowledge.
So let me go back a little bit to this point, because I think some of the things that you're sharing are so uniquely ingrained in our BK culture about the journey of the soul and how the soul can go and be stuck somewhere and what have you. So the regularity, right? Regularity of a soul comes in a body, takes birth, lives out that birth, plays the part to its best ability. Then, whether it's a car accident, whether it's an illness, whether it's old age, natural cause, the regularity that the soul cannot stay in that body forever, the soul has to leave and move on. You've seen that. You've seen how maybe the heart stopped pumping, but the kidneys were fine. The liver was healthy, but not the heart. Or, maybe the cancer takes over the whole system and all the body parts break down. But there's an energy, there's a life that somehow it leaves that physical form. Did you remember being in a room with a patient and feeling that soul had left, like the room had become silent? Do you remember?
Well, I think this is a thing which all of us see, but we don't know. It's like you can't see the soul going, but you see the person, the heartbeats going off or breathing stopping. But that's the modern way of looking at life. We always look at the physical level, that only heart stopped. We always say cardiorespiratory arrest and the patient died. We don't say the soul has left the body. The soul has left the body, what our concept is. But I think this is a very important from the point of view of changing yourself. If you want to change, then you have to look at the level of the soul. And
yes, exactly. We have to look at the level of the soul. And I'm going to continue with the point that you made earlier, because everybody, depending on your religious traditions, if you are a yogi or Brahma Kumara Kumari watching, you know what Dr. Mehta and I are having an exchange on. if you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim or just looking for ideas, just imagine this energy of the soul has a regularity of entering the womb of a mother, growing it to its full term that it's supposed to. It comes out, it's born, it's given a name, a gender, a religion, a nationality, a language. It plays out the part, it lives all these experiences. Something emerges, then it has to go. One of the things I like Dr. Mehta mentioned is many old traditions believe the soul goes, but it finds again the regularity, it comes back. It enters another womb, it goes into the process, it comes out, it's given a name, form, gender, time. It starts to live out a part, and it can do that for a lot of times until it develops a deep connection to the divine, to God, Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Khuda, Prabhu, Bhagwan, whatever is the language. When it comes on to God for you, Dr. Mehta, and in your studies of the Brahma Kumaris, when you, the soul, connect to God or experience God, what does God look like, feel like to you? What is your practice of your connection to the supreme power? How do you do it?
Well, when you meditate and you sit in silence and you have this feelings, you get the feeling that you're becoming quiet and you're becoming positive, and everything seems to be, you feel very happy. You have the internal feeling of happiness. You don't have worries. If you have worries, they just go away. You certainly feel elevated. You feel like sometimes you feel like flying like an angel. You see the beautiful lights. Sometimes you have that feeling of deep silence. At the end of it, you don't want to talk to anybody and you feel very happy. I think the happiness is the final thing that you experience. And it depends on how you meditate on that particular issues, whether you want to be totally peaceful, whether you want to be totally positive.
You know, one of the irregular practices I have noticed in the world today is we're not so regular in our thought connection to God. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've noticed that my brothers and sisters don't remember the energy of God regularly throughout the day. And instead, there's a regular remembrance of a person, a possession, an expectation, bills, responsibilities, money. That majority of us have a regular pattern of thinking of the mundane, people, places, things, money, the body. But one of the things that's regularly wired in our brain, in our personality, in the soul, is a connection to the divine, is a connection to God. And I feel that when I can maintain this link, when I can keep my remembrance of the energy of God as a remembrance that I know the energy of God is a good energy, it is a good personality, it is a point of living power that reminds me I am peaceful, I am pure, I am loving, I'm true. You might call it affirmation. I don't necessarily believe a lot in affirmations, but I believe in just conviction. I know I'm peaceful and I'm pure. I don't have to convince myself. I know it, right? And it comes from God. My connection to God reminds me I am loving, I am pure, I am peaceful, I am happy. There's nothing I can't do. And so that connection to the divine, I think, is so important in helping us to reestablish our regularity of life so that there's more calm and peace. If you don't mind, I'd like us to go into a meditation on that. Is that okay with you? So what we can do, everyone, is to just take a moment to review some of the thoughts Dr. Mehta shared with us and some of the thoughts that maybe you might have picked up from just our conversation. And try to see if you can let go of anything that might be getting in your mind that's not making you regular to feel peace. You know, the regularity of feeling loved by the highest authority. So just take a moment now and go inside of yourself for a little while. Just take a very, very deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And whatever you're going through, whatever it is that seems as if it's out of its regular system for you, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship of love and respect, whether it's your health is not doing so well, it's irregular, the way your muscles feel, the mind, whatever it is, just put it aside for a while, just a little bit. Let's just say that your connection with the divine now, with God, is to bring back the regularity of feeling at peace, feeling in love with yourself, feeling powerful. Let's take a breath. Breathe out. Regular breathing is so good for you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's go into this meditation of just letting go. Om Shanti. The time that we choose to be aware doesn't necessarily require me to just sit and meditate. But even while I walk and move around, I can be in a meditative awareness, which is awareness of the soul, the original, eternal, imperishable being of light. For a little while, I'd like to invite you to be present, to be here, and to be now. Allow your mind to settle in the moment, to relax. This meditation is about awareness. It's about becoming aware of your original and eternal self. It's about connecting to your truth. Let go of your name. And observe yourself feeling nameless. Let go of your gender to discontinue thinking you're a man or a woman. Let it go and observe how you would feel walking around without a gender. Let go of the role that you play and let go of the titles that you own. Observe how you're feeling as you are gradually letting go. Let go of your religion and put it aside just for now. And let go of your nationality and even the language that you're accustomed to. Imagine you have no name, gender, role, title, religion, nationality, or even a language. Ask yourself, how do you feel at this moment? And in this feeling, who would think of you and who would you think of? The Supreme Soul would think of you, and you, the liberated soul, would think of the Supreme. In this state of absolute freedom, I am truly who I am. A free, peaceful, pure, immortal, and eternal soul. Allow yourself to just be absorbed in this awareness. At this time, Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome back. That is regular. That's what we need to have more regular in our lives. Meditation, connection to God, connection to ourselves. And the more we're regular in that practice, can you imagine the things that will emerge around you? Order, peace, happiness, abundance, success, ease, power, clarity, discernment, love, fearlessness, courage, dignity, integrity. If we only practice more and more regularly this introverted or introspection, it could make our lives like diamonds, like gold, like gold. So go ahead, Dr. Mehta. You have
I think we are also in a holistic approach to well-being when we think of regularity, emphasize the interconnection of mind, intellect, and personality traits or sanskars. Regularity in our daily routine includes also the physical part, the sleep, balanced nutrition, the physical exercise, which form the foundation of a healthy, harmonious lifestyle.
Yeah.
Practice of regularity in personal life with established routines and habits is more effective than sporadic bursts of activity. They contribute to personal well-being and success, increase our efficiency and productivity, reduce the mental effort and time needed to initiate and complete any project, to help us being effective also in time management, prioritize our responsibilities, meet our deadlines.
Yeah, it's very true.
The uncertainty. All this we can do in a holistic way when we think of a regularity, lower our stress levels, give a sense of control and stability, help achieve long-term goals. I think habits, once aligned with our personal goals, promote steady progress as well.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Regularity has been crucial for maintaining our good health, consistent sleep patterns, regular exercise, balanced nutrition. All this can contribute to physical and mental well-being.
What would you say is the right amount of sleep? What's a healthy amount of sleep we should have in a day?
Well, I think that depends on the age. As you grow older, your sleep becomes less and less. But average person would expect anywhere up to 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Is there ever the irregularity if somebody's getting too much sleep, let's say 12 hours of sleep a day, like teenagers?
I don't think that should be the right thing to do, sleep lesser time. But depends again on your how you're used to, how you develop your lifestyle. So, but I think the important part is it's not only the regularity, not only you bring
the physical.
Only at a lifestyle level, even in nutrition, exercise, all that has to be a part of a physical well-being is a part of your regularity. I think that is absolutely necessary.
So true.
We live in a very stressful atmosphere in a marked hustle and bustle. It's easy to succumb to the pressures. So I think you have to adopt regular habits and nurture our physical well-being, as well as create conducive environment for spiritual growth. That is absolutely necessary. The journey towards regularity is not without the challenges. We have the challenges also. In a society that often glorifies, we are very busy, I don't have time, kind of thing. We are multitasking. Carving out time for regular practices may seem daunting at times. View regularity as an investment, a conscious choice to prioritize our well-being and a spiritual evolution. I think that's very necessary. Embracing a disciplined and consistent approach to daily routines is like sowing the seeds for a more balanced, purposeful life.
Yes, yes.
At personal and professional level, such virtues of patience, perseverance, and discipline in our pursuit of excellence is absolutely necessary. In education, in relationship, or careers, regularity has a way of sustaining your growth and success.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the education, the benefits of regularity are evident in the journey of acquiring knowledge and skills, emphasize the importance of a disciplined approach to learning, and us to dedicate regular time to expand our intellectual horizons through consistent study and reflections. We not only deepen our understanding of the world, but also contribute to the collective pool of knowledge that enriches society as a whole.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
In the realm of relationships, regularity takes a form of consistent efforts to nurture and sustain meaningful connections. Approach to cultivate relationship We need love, understanding, and patience. Regular communication, acts of kindness, and shared moments of joy can contribute to strengthen the bonds of fostering a sense of unity and harmony. Even in our
Correct.
professional pursuits, regularity can become a cornerstone of success. We advocate for a work ethic grounded in dedication and conscientious effort. By approaching our tasks with a sense of responsibility and commitment, we not only can achieve our individual goals, but also contribute positively to our organization and communities we are a part of.
Yeah.
In context of a global challenge, the world is in a dire need of regularity in our collective efforts to address pressing issues such as climate change, poverty, and social injustice. We in Brahma Kumaris have a commitment to promoting peace, harmony, inspire to come together regularly, sense of unity and a shared responsibility. In terms of climate change that we have in particular is a monumental challenge that requires regular and sustained efforts from individuals, communities, and the nations. We need to adopt eco-friendly practices, promote sustainability, and participate in collective initiatives for the well-being of the planet and the future generations. We have been using renewable energy in our institution for a sustainable future for past 33 years. And we are India's one of the key developers and promoters of renewable energy. Brahma Kumaris has helped cultivate a sense of environmental stewardship through consistent actions such as solar steam cooking systems, solar thermal power generation, and thermal storage, photovoltaic standalone systems, solar hot water plants, and various ways of using the solar energy. We have also addressed the poverty and social injustice, necessitating a commitment to regular efforts, advocate for a world where compassion and empathy guide our actions.
Yes.
Regular acts of kindness, philanthropy, and advocacy for social change collectively create a ripple effect, leading to a more equitable and compassionate society.
Yeah.
If one has to conclude, say, the pursuit of regularity is a transformative journey that transcends the boundaries of the individual, touching every aspect of our life and the world around us. Our teachings provide us with a roadmap for this journey, offering timeless wisdom that empowers us to navigate the complexities of modern living with grace and purpose. I think that's an important thing. And let us wholeheartedly enhance the principles of regularity in our lives. Recognize it as a powerful catalyst for personal and collective transformation. Regular meditation, disciplined routines, conscious efforts to cultivate virtues forge a path towards a more harmonious existence.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Encourages positive change. I think this is the part of the message that we would like to give.
Thank
we
you.
can contribute to a world
Thank you.
where love, peace, understanding prevail.
Thank you. Both of us have been very deeply connected to the path and the teachings and the community of the Brahma Kumaris. Sometimes everyone out there, if you're listening, it's just sometimes such an art to try to convey all the amount of contributions made by the students of the Brahma Kumaris, Dr. Mehta, with health and well-being and integrating the spiritual principles, the connection between the soul, God, the Supreme Soul. And I just want to invite you in imagining what it's like. We've been surrounded by men and women who have evolved in a regularity of life. They have lived a regular life of staying above the algae, that acronym that I've used, algae. A for anger, L for lust, G for greed, A for attachment, and E for ego. And imagine when you've met a group of people who are regularly evolving from algae as a behavior, algae as a thought process. It is because of this algae there's poverty. It is because of algae there is irregularity in the way people relate to each other. Now we're witnessing bloodshed without cause. People are just unkind to each other because internally at a soul level, there's such an irregular pattern of thinking. We don't remember who we are. We seem to forget there is this light within, the soul that is within. And I like that Dr. Mehta was mentioning just some of the activities that we're so involved with. And what I've noticed being a part of this movement for so many years, it's so challenging to convey to the world, and maybe it's just the timing, but you've got to turn your attention inwards and begin to nurture your soul until you can feel that regular thought process of peace and truth and dignity and purity and happiness. And when there's a regular practice of thinking in that way, then you behave in that way. And then it ripples out, and then it becomes more people, and more people begin to see living proofs of people who live like that. It will become a regular thing. I don't think wars and famine and poverty and ill health should be regular things that we have to listen to every day, that we have to watch on the news every day, that we have to open up our newspapers, and on the front cover of a newspaper is that which is irregular. That to give suffering to another person is an irregular behavior. We're not supposed to kill people for the sake of peace. It is an irregular thought. It's an irregular practice. And the more we create that action and that ideology, the more chaos we will witness because of irregularity. And so why I think this value is so important, what Dr. Mehta and I are focusing on, is we are asking you, are you ready to engage in a regular practice of being the best, having a connection to your soul conscious self, to the real sense of yourself, the peace that's within you? Are you willing to be regular in your thought connection to God, who is the ocean of love and peace, who will fill you? Are you going to be regular in giving respect and receiving respect? Will you be regular in giving love and receiving love? Will you be regular in doing good, even if the other person wasn't good to you? Are you willing to be regular in knowing that being positive, pure-hearted, into a visionary, that if I have a good wish about you, that good wish will come back to me in a good way? Are we going to be regular in that practice? And I think for us to do this beginning of the year on regularity with the values and spirituality, I would call it now a caucus, Dr. Manoj, that it's really important for us to begin to look at creating a regular practice that makes you into a better human being. Dr. Mehta, thank you for the things that you've shared today. I know I've taken a lot of insights, and I hope that this has benefited at least one person today, where you realize you're going down maybe a road of irregular practice that's only going to give you sorrow, and that you've decided to turn yourself around to come into a regular practice of becoming aware of the soul, becoming aware of God, the Supreme Being, and performing actions that don't give sorrow nor take sorrow. So, Dr. Manoj, I hand it over to you, Dr. Mehta. It is my always absolute humble appreciation to have shared this time with you, because I know, I say this with all respect, you are so humble, and in your field you are grand, and the world is also maybe becoming aware of how grand you are. And for us to just spend the time together to speak on something so important, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your time.
So what else to say? Thank you to both of you. And you all showed us very different shades of regularity. And I was amazed when Sister Jenna was sharing, and even Dr. Mehta, you all were just mentioning regularity all the time, which we never thought that even the soul has a regular pattern. It enters, it leaves. Everything is so regular, and very beautifully pointed out that nature is so regular in its pattern, the seasons. But we have really done a lot of ill will. That's the reason the wars have become regular now. But it's a thing of the past. It will soon become past, and then there's a new age coming ahead. Well, I think I'm afraid we don't have a lot of time for questions, but hope it's okay that both of you and all the participants, if we can just postpone 10 more minutes, I'll ask a few questions because quite a few questions have come. I'll just try to compile them together. There are 3 questions, all have the same background. One of them is a gynecologist. I know her very well personally. She says, I struggle a lot with getting up early morning Amrit Vela meditation. And I want to be regular. What is the thing which should motivate me to become a regular? That's one. Hang on. The second question is from a working professional. Again, it's a lady. She's saying that it's a daily routine, the chores which I have, the household. I have to take care of kids. I have to go to the office. I really find it struggling. I mean, I'm struggling with being regular in everything, regular consistency in whatever, physical work, and also the spiritual lifestyle which I have started. And the third one is another sister who's writing that you mentioned about being regular in the mind, the thoughts. We should have good thoughts for people regularly, that I am a peaceful soul. We should be regular. She says, I can't be regular. So I think it boils down to what is the thing which should be motivating us to practice regularity in our spiritual life and our daily household life as well. So
who should answer that, Dr. Mehta or me?
Okay.
Let's start with you, Sister Jenna.
Well, first, whoever said she can't, can you delete that word from your vocabulary? There is nothing you can't do. You can do anything. I'm telling you that as proof. Do not use that word anymore. Do not say you can't. You might say, I won't. I don't want to. That's different. But you can. You can. So the first and foremost thing from my perspective, remove that word can't. And then you'll see your whole story will change. Number 2, for the mother and the child and working to get the kids together and getting up for the morning routine, don't force yourself. Your heart should wake you up. It is not something that you force yourself to do. However, I would introduce to you, at least commit to one day, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, where you say, I want this for me. I want to get up early just for me. And you get up early, you get out of the bed, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you go to your room, where it's your meditation room, your puja room, your Baba's room or your corner, and you will see the sweetness of that time when you get up just for you, and you can be selfish, and your selfishness is going to bring benefit to the whole household. You do it, but delete that word can't. And if anybody is struggling with the morning routine, I will tell you, don't force yourself to get up. However, select one day a week that you feel so selfish that you want to do this for you because it's beneficial. The second thing is, maybe there's something you haven't fully understood about the teachings. Because once you've understood the time that we're in, and you recognize the auspiciousness of the end of the Iron Age before the beginning of the Golden Age, and there is this age of realization, this age of the confluence, this diamond age, you're not going to want to lose a moment by being lazy. You're going to want to seek to understand. And through that understanding, you would automatically wake up. Don't forget, I used to go to bed at 7 in the morning, closing the clubs. So what happened to me that getting up at 2, I used to get up at 2 in the mornings to sit with God. And then 3, and then 3:30, and now 4. It's that you knew that this was good for you. You knew it, that this is going to be good for you. So at some point in time, for those who've asked the question, something in your consciousness has to recognize this is beneficial for you, and you will choose to be regular. Dr. Mehta, do you have any thoughts?
I think if you have to be regular, you should follow everything in that regularity. You should sleep early. You must complete your sleep. If you go to sleep at 8:30, 9:30, you're bound to get up at 4 o'clock. If you sleep at 11 or 12, to try and get up early morning is difficult. I think the regularity is entire lifestyle. It's not only getting up in the early morning. You have to eat in time, you do to exercise in time, you have to work in time. You must keep your schedule fixed. You cannot have a whole day you work very hard, and you can't sleep till 11, and then you want to get up at 4. It may be difficult. So I think the tip would be that everything should be regular. Your food, your exercise, your nutrition, your meditation. I think you must follow regularity.
Yeah, so in the interest of time, I would just take 2 more questions, and I would request one answer for each from each one of you. So this one is a very interesting question. A sister is saying that her daughter has got autism spectrum disorder. It's called ASD. She's got learning difficulties and learning disabilities. And listening to the talk, she's inspired because she says that regularity in the routine of a child with learning disabilities is very important. So she says that when the nurses who look after that child, they suddenly change her pattern or medication or something, and then the child gets disturbed and she has a meltdown. So she's saying that I know it's difficult. The staff doesn't have only one patient, one person to deal with. There are many, but any simple ideas which I can share with them so that their behavior towards my daughter changes and they can, so it can be less distressing for my daughter. What can I share with them? A very practical question.
Dr. Mehta?
I have never treated autism, and I really am at a loss to advise on this issue.
I think the best thing that I could suggest is the parent needs to inform the nurses of the importance of maintaining a regular system for the daughter, because this is what she goes through when they come and change the system and change it up for them. And then maybe the parent can also share with the nurse what the importance of regularity means, and that maybe she watched this program on regularity and then she realized how important it is. And I think it's really the parent's role to just inform the nurse of the importance of maintaining. I have the same problem with Sister Geeta and her dementia. If I take her out of her regular system, she gets a little bit like, wait, what's going on? So when individuals are in a particular pattern, don't shift it up too much unless you don't have a choice, but try to maintain regularity as much as you can for them, because they're building, no? They're building on themselves. And so if you found a good routine that works, then stick to it.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing, having a good communication with the nurse practitioner, because I think the nurses are much more sensitive than parents related to these ASD. So I think it's good communication. And yes, you can recommend listening to this talk. Thank you so much. I'll take this last question. Again, as I said, it's 9:50 India time. Yeah, this question is related to both of you were speaking about Murlis and something like that. So this sister is asking, she goes to the regular teaching. She's saying that Murli is a Hindi word and the exact translation in English is flute. So if you can please elaborate, and Sister Jenna was mentioning about the 3-page love letter or something which comes. So can you please elaborate on that, what is this Murli? And should I really listen to the Murli? Can I just not only do meditation? Isn't that enough? Do I need to listen to some spiritual teachings before I do meditation? So that's the question.
Of course you do. If you plant a seed and you only put water in it with no sun, it's still not going to grow. So even if you have yoga without enough understanding of the mechanisms of thought, the Murli will help to guide you how to think as you're receiving so much power from God's light. So in reference to the Murli that Dr. Mehta was mentioning, and I had piggybacked on it, it's the teachings offered within the Brahma Kumaris structure. And in the 30s, when the founder, Brahma Baba, had a download of experiences of God's light, through him were revelations of things that will occur in the future. And also he was offering directions of how we should think and behave in order to create a golden aged new world, which is the inevitable. As this old world breaks down because of irregularity, and because people are not connecting to God to transform themselves, there is going to be an end of all this chaos. But when all of this chaos comes to an end, there'll be quite a few of individuals in the world who would be in order, and they would have the wisdom in order to reconstruct and make the world better than it was in the past. So for me and whoever asked the question, just look at the Murli as just positive guidance. You know, you're getting guidance as to how to think, how to speak, how to relate to people, how to be a good citizen in the world, how to upgrade humanity, how to invest in humanity to make it better. And there is a regular system that is connected to our teachings that we have every morning. And Murli is known as the flute of knowledge. What does it mean to me coming from the West? It means that whenever I hear something that's beneficial for me, I dance inside. It sounds like music to me. And you know, music is universal. So is the teachings of the Murli. It's universal. And it's like music. When you hear it, you get the guidance, what I need to do that day. What do I do without the Murli? Well, I might look for guidance somewhere else. I might look for teaching somewhere else. Did you know that there's some people, when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is turn on the news? That is not good teachings. That's not what you want to feed yourself early in the mornings. So if you're having silent time between you, the soul, and God, then complement it with the light, with the breath of knowledge, so that you become complete. So when you go out to give your life to the world, there's wisdom, and then there's depth, there's power, there's light in you. And that will make you a citizen that contributes to humanity. So our teachings of the Murli is the foundation of the Brahma Kumaris structure and guideline. And we're very regular. Out of the, what's it now, Dr. Mehta? I'm so out of touch. I think it's 9,000 centers in 110 countries. Every center studies the same class that day, the Murli of the same day. It's really right now the only spiritual body in the world where there's no conflict or fighting about what will be the teachings of that day. So if you imagine the regularity of over 1 million students, each studying the same class, the same teaching of that morning, and carrying that vibration throughout the whole day, the world is going to change. And the world will become a golden aged paradise for people to live happily, because you can see it. The regularity of people building on positive principles will make the world into a better place. So yes, if you are practicing with the Brahma Kumaris, it is essential that you contribute your teachings and your growth with the study of the Murli. That's my advice. I don't know if Dr. Mehta has anything to share.
And what you have said is perfect. I think you have to have some basis. First, you must get introduced to the subject. Who am I? What's the soul? What are its functions? How it functions? And how you bring about a change in your thinking. And Murli, of course, is a versions of the Supreme, which is a guideline for you to change from human to a deity soul. In other words, to go higher in your consciousness and higher in your values, I think it's necessary that you should take some of the classes on Raj Yoga and then get into listening or reading the Murlis. That will make a definite change in your life. This is a highway if one has to travel fast towards a goal. I think following Murli will be much easier.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. It was so good to be with all of you today.
And just quickly over to Sister Anu now for three things, for announcements, for vote of thanks, and the photograph. Over to you. Thank you.
Typically, we are out of time. The extended time is also done. But I think I want to take this opportunity to officially give vote of thanks to Dr. Ashok Mehta, who is the one who gives the vote of thanks to our guests every time. So it was really wonderful, very, very insightful discussion. The importance of regularity, that on the physical level to spiritual level, the beautifully with experience you brought, Sister Dr. Jena, is essential to create that space of benefit for the self and the world. So loved it all. I'm sure each of us have benefited, and love that being regular in my awareness of the spirit that is beyond, or not just this physical being, that practice of being the spirit. So another thing is I cannot show the picture, but it's beautiful Vancouver morning, 8:30 almost, and there is pile of thick snow and the fog. It's all white. It's really like a different world today. So on behalf of everyone from the beautiful Vancouver, that's a big thanks to both of you. Thank you. And I think quickly, Sister Jena, I know you did the meditation in between, so that's good. But maybe just very, very quickly, want to let you all know the upcoming programs. And that is?
I think your screen is frozen. It's not showing up. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I want to make it, full screen, it stops. Anyways, yeah, you can share.
Yeah, maybe I'll just invite everybody to just hold a moment of peace and silence. I don't know if you're asking me to do that. Yes, it's just important for us to be regular in pausing for moments of stillness to have this connection to God's light. It's essential now. I think it's important for us to be regular in remembering God. Not a religious God. You can't squeeze God in your religion. God, the Father of all souls. And when you practice this regular link, this regular connection, there's a peace that will come over you. There is a lightness that will come over you. There is a love that will flow through you. So just turn your attention behind your eyes and allow your inner world to receive the vibrations of God's glow, God's rays of peace and love and purity. You have access to this source now. You have the ability to carry God's vibrations with you. It's gentle. It's strong. It's kind. It's giving. It's pure. It's wise. It's creative. It's joyful. That's our regular way of being, actually, as children of the divine, of souls. To make this your year of carrying the vibrations of God's light through you, to your friends, family, children, spouse, career, city, country, nature, the world. The more remembrance of God you carry, the better the world will be. Thanks to everybody who's joined in. Hopefully you'll be able to continue with episode number 83 after this. And I'm sure that the team and the staff will continue to guide you to your best ability. You have a lot of choices. You can zoom into many rooms. You can turn on many YouTubes. Stay regular with your commitment to what grows you, what builds you and makes you stronger, happier, more at peace. Find your community that you feel connected to, that you can be strong with. Thanks for your time. All the best, everyone. Dr. Mehta, again, see you soon. Om Shanti. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you, Sister Jenna. My apologies. Let's take another 1 second to take a click of picture. That's also a regular with. And our upcoming programs, you will all know, no problem. So you can switch on your video. They love to have their photos with you. Sister Dr. Jenna, Dr. Mehta. So everyone, switch on your video. And we can share this virtual photo.
Thank you once again so much for your time. Thank you.